Why were the words white and delightsome in 2 Nephi 30 verse 6 changed to pure and delightsome? Right on the heels of the civil rights campaign for blacks.
Question 12. Why were the words white and delightsome in 2 Nephi chapter 30 verse 6 changed to pure and delightsome right on the heels of the civil rights movement? Now it is true that in the current edition of the Book of Mormon, this is what it reads, as it says, "And then shall they rejoice, for they shall know that it is a blessing unto them from the hand of God, and their scales of darkness shall begin to fall from their eyes, and many generations shall not pass away among them, save they shall be a pure and a delightsome people." Now it is also true that in the first edition of the Book of Mormon, printed in 1830, that the word pure was originally white. That it read, "They should be a white and a delightsome people." The question says that this change was made on the heels of the civil rights movement in the 1960s, thus implying that the change was first made in the 1981 edition of the Book of Mormon. However, this is simply not true. The change was made in 1840 and has been a part or has been printed in every edition of the Book of Mormon since. The 1840 edition was the third edition of the Book of Mormon, and it was the first one to be edited by Joseph Smith after the first. So in 1830, you had the first edition of the Book of Mormon, and it was in either 35 or 37 that there was a second edition printed. After that second edition, Joseph Smith went back through and edited some errors that had crept in due to scribal or printing errors. And one of the things that he changed was this word, changing white to pure in 2 Nephi chapter 30 verse 6. Now, considering that Joseph Smith was the one that made the change, it is advisable that we look at the context of the verse as well as other occurrences of the word white in the Book of Mormon. There are two other places in the Book of Mormon that the word white is applied to skin color. And neither of these were changed by Joseph Smith. They have not been changed, and they still read the same as they did in the first edition. So why was this one verse in 2 Nephi changed when no other verse referencing white was? Well, the simple fact is that the context of the verse warranted the change. The context of the verse speaks to spiritual purity and righteousness, prophesying that at some future date, the descendants of the Nephites and Lamanites would receive the gospel from the Gentiles, and when they embraced the gospel, then they would become a pure and a delightsome people. The word white was originally used in the 1830 edition because the word white can be used synonymously with the word pure. That is common throughout history. Even in the Bible, it states, though thy sins be as scarlet, they shall be white as snow. So whiteness is a euphemism for purity, which is how it was being used originally in 2 Nephi chapter 30, verse 6. Now, why Joseph Smith changed it is a matter of speculation, but it appears that he changed it to clarify the meaning of that passage. The passage clearly speaks to spiritual purity, not to skin color. And because of the other references to skin color in the Book of Mormon, the use of the word white in this verse, though appropriate, may have been confusing to those who read it. So Joseph Smith was inspired to alter that verse to give a more clear understanding of what the passage is speaking of. But again, the change was made 120 years before the civil rights movement ever started.